Runway.
Please.
All right, welcome back to the same podcast, but now in a new calendar year. And we've got your hosts here, Flechr.
And you got your host, Pauli.
Fantastic. How are you feeling in the new year, mate?
I'm looking at the year, and it's got that nice odd number attached to the side of it, so things are looking up, I think.
Yeah, it's almost a shame considering how nice of a year, in terms of nice numbers. 2020 is such a nice number for years, and it's turned out to be such a meme of a year.
Hopefully, since this one ends in 21, maybe it'll be a blackjack of a year, and everyone will get paid. So,
I think I get paid either way. Hopefully, I haven't discussed the specifics with my employer, but I would hope.
Note to our employers, please keep the checks coming. We need those.
Yes, please. I will keep doing my job if you continue to pay me. It's that simple, folks. It's that simple.
A to B, B to C. It's really that easy.
We'll talk more about what we're looking forward to this year when we get to our weekly, which is of course looking at this year, because last 2 weeks, whenever it was, we looked at the year in reviews, and this time we'll look at the year forward. But before we get there, I think it's your turn for trivia.
Yeah, so I got you. Keeping with the theme. Got you a nice PD trivia question. So, if you look at the rare world record database, so starting from, let's see, what is that? It's August. Okay, so starting from August 4th, 2000, that's when the database goes back, and that's when they start tracking world records and time cuts. Yeah.
Sure.
So from that date to now, the question is, how large is the biggest time cut in PD? So for a single time, so what, so is it 10 seconds? Is it 20 seconds? Is it 2 minutes? What's the biggest time cut for a single record?
Can I get a hint? What level? What stage?
Oh, well, that's the thing. I was going to, I could give you the stage, or I could give you bonus points if you guess the stage.
I'd almost have to guess that it's a PA stage, because not that there weren't certain breaks and levels. Obviously there was the huge time cut, 20 plus seconds going defection agent once the trick TM was discovered sometime in 2000, I believe. That may be the biggest cut on an agent level. Actually, that may have spoiled future trivia.
I'll do you a favor. The times were already set. The defection glitch came before all that, so that's not even in there. So you ain't got to worry about that.
Okay.
So just think it was pretty standard by that point. Let me tell you what the official time was. I don't know if it'll even help you, but I'm going to tell you anyway. So we start at 1:56:58. That's total time for PD when we start tracking this. So it's not going to be, it's probably not going to be some 15-minute cut, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
So, think more reasonable than that, and that should be hint enough, I think.
Knowing what little I know about the early days of PD, my personal guess is going to have to be that the stage, I want to say infill PA. I think that has a good chance, and it's probably a pretty big cut, in the realm of maybe multiple minutes even. But that's my guess. I can't get any more specific than that.
So we'll say would you say 2.5 minutes infill PA? Would that sound reasonable to you? You want to be slightly more specific?
if we're looking at over under 2.5, I'd say over.
2.5. I'll take that. I'll take over under on that. So you say Info PA over 2.5?
Something like that. Yeah, that sounds suspicious to me.
All right. Well, when we get to the end of our foray into this new year, we'll find out how right you are or right you aren't. It's just dependent.
Who knows? And the viewers as well. Obviously, I know there are quite a few members listening that enjoy the trivia quite a lot. So hopefully that gives you something to think about as we dive in to 3 times from each game. Obviously, if you've been paying attention at all to the front page of the Elite Rankings, it is coded, absolutely coded in LTK times. I have tried, and I think Pauli as well, both of us have tried to not include solely LTK stuff because there's actually been quite a few fantastic times that I think have gone under the radar just because they're getting buried in all these LTK posts.
You're definitely getting buried, and while I have no problem with that. It's LTK. You know where I like to eat lunch at. But also, B, it's our job to make sure these things don't go under the radar. So why don't we touch on a couple of them now?
The first that I think has just gone completely. I think I saw one person mention it in Elite Discord. Green got Silo Agent 100.
He's been hunting that for quite some time, actually.
He has a lot of streams coming from him. His comment says that it's a no-hit run, so he must have accidentally plugged in the Game Shark that Jimbo let him borrow. Got a 100, so absolutely insane time. I imagine it's an insane run. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but good on Green for keeping at it. I know Silo has always been one of his specialty stages in GoldenEye.
You think the Game Shark he used from Jimbo, it was signed like from Aztec with love on it?
I would imagine something to that effect.
I like to imagine that because but that's neither here nor there. Definitely Silo is one of them levels that's attuned to Green's play style. He's really good at the fast frenetic levels, as we've seen, Bunker 2 and Extraction, these sort of deals. So Silo is his bag, and good to see him finally catch that in. I wonder if if he's interested in being sneaky beaky and trying to get to 59, or if he's got his eye on something else. So I guess we'll find out next stream.
Who knows? Yeah,
which, I'm always interested to, because I love Green and I love Green's gameplay, so I'll definitely be watching it.
Big. We got a couple big Green fans here, for sure. Speaking though of levels, with Mark Untieds, another time that's kind of gone under the radar. Our boy Antler has finally achieved damn 00156.
You're the deer.
Oh yes, he is now the 9th person to achieve 156 or better. Of course, like almost all of these people to get 156 or better have done so in the last couple months. Doris got it in November. And then Wotus got it in November, and then Irie got it in November, and then Elu got it in December on Christmas Day, apparently. And then Austin finally got it as well on the first of the year. A lot of action at the very tippy top of Damn 00, and Antler is the one to sneak in there at the end.
Yeah. Always the silent killer, that Antler. Doesn't post that much, but when he does, it's usually in bursts, and the times are usually cooked. So
yeah,
not a big surprise coming from the man himself. I wonder who will continue the trend and be the January 156, because obviously we'll get a couple more, and Mark coming back, posting the 154 with the lure strat, definitely getting the juice is flowing on the level where you could argue that hey, that was sitting there for a while.
Mm-hmm.
People could have, sure, people tried. People could have been doing this at any point, but sometimes it takes a spark to get the fire going.
Indeed. So I'll be interested to see what else happens there.
Could be you, mate.
It could be. I would have to achieve Frigate Agent 23, Statue 219, 218, 218, and Depot 23 before the end of the month, and then still have time to somehow skip 157 and 158 and get 156 before February starts. But if all of those things happened, it could be me.
If all those things happened in January, I don't think you'd complain very much.
No, I certainly wouldn't, because it means I actually got my crap together and played the game. But we'll see. We'll see what happens there. I know I said I wasn't going to throw in that many LTK times, but it is worth mentioning Dusky once again untying Frigate LTK with 113.
A cheeky skip in there to go along with it, as a matter of fact.
Cheeky skip, and his video is the entire session from booting up the console to achieving it, and the video is 2 minutes and 25 seconds long.
Again, like those are the sessions you live for, where it's like, all right, you in your head, you've blocked out like I got a good 2 hours or so. Like we'll see if we can make something happen, and it happens in less than 10 minutes, and you're like, okay, well, what do I do now?
Yeah. Dude, I miss those days. That used to happen a lot more often.
Yeah, it used to happen a lot more often when the times aren't approaching like the tippy top. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when you could just bang out a 7-second PR without trying, it's like, oh, this is amazing. I feel like the best player ever.
Speaking of tippy top.
Indeed. Now, for my 3, first of all, we're gonna hit guy I'm a big fan of. Hopefully he's a big fan of me too. We got Taka sliding in with another Airbase 112 on Agent.
Absolutely wild to see this time just light up. So many players going for it right now, and having gotten it now. Six people now with 112 or better. Taka among them, and he's just I don't even know if Taka is able to listen to something like this. I don't know how good his English is. It seems pretty good. Taka, if you listen, good shit, man. Good job.
Big fans of Taka here as well. I wonder if he will try for the 111, or maybe he'll move on to another difficulty of Airbase. He seems like the kind of guy that when he plays something, he plays all the difficulties of it like in succession, because that's what we've seen in recently. Where I know he did Ruins that way, and
G5, Deep Sea.
Yeah, that was the other one.
Defense. Pretty much most of his recent PRs have all been clumpy.
Yeah, and we've got, let's see, he's got 142 from 2012, and he's got 203 from July of last year. So maybe he's taking a look at essay. Might as well do it while he's hot on the laser skip, I would say.
Oh, here's his profile. He updated it. Hello, I'm Japanese. I can't speak English well. So I imagine this would not be his sort of content to listen to.
He says he can't speak English. What if he can listen to English?
I would argue that is in some ways harder, having studied foreign languages myself.
Yes, indeed, I would agree with you. But let's look for a second. It could happen.
I would love to see him get the 111 though. An Ilu Taka tie in 2021. What even is the world that we're living in anymore where that sort of thing could happen?
It would warm this Southern man's heart, for one thing.
Like,
Just personally.
if I saw that, I may take one of my GoldenEye slots to talk about it instead.
just be like, nah, I need you to understand. Like, really, we need to have 2 slots dedicated to this.
Look.
Yeah. That's when you go get the chair, you know what I mean?
Yes.
That's when you walk in the building and go get it.
Indeed.
But anyway, moving along from Taka, only temporarily, because I'm sure in the coming weeks he'll give us a reason to come back, knowing him. We've got our guy Eliminator Junior getting the Mayan fast cycle and banging in a 138, which is always tricky to do under the best of circumstances.
Oh, I'm now noticing that his 140 was also a fast cycle attempt.
Yeah, but sometimes things happen, and sometimes you go back and you you correct your mistake. Listen, everyone makes errors, and sometimes things happen, but this time we got the 138. Could have been even better, but had to reopen the lift. But sometimes you take those.
Yeah, sometimes that's just what you got to do.
Meanwhile, I was trying to get 138 on PAL and was doing illegal tricks. So who's really like the good guy and the bad guy at the end of the day? It's me. I'm the bad guy.
Oh.
It's me.
I'm glad you clarified. I wasn't sure.
Just wanted to get that out there. Just watch my PRs, because you think I won't do it again? I actually won't do it again, because I have no idea how you do it. It was a complete accident. But never mind that. Good job to Eliminator, otherwise known as Randy. Calling him Eliminator is fun, actually, because I never do it. I just want to point out.
Does anyone?
No, unless it's Ace, who Ace likes to call people by alternate names, or if they have a wacky nickname, he just calls them by that instead of the proper name. So.
Fair.
Which, if he's doing a bit, I like, because I'm always behind someone doing a bit, especially if it's good.
Indeed.
But
big fan of bits here.
Yeah, so go ahead and drop a few if you feel so inclined. Just want to point out really quick, Alien of that time, you see, Mayan, Alien, getting good at this. The past month or so, Randy's been putting up a lot of good times and is currently, making a push, up towards the top 10, very close to 5K points. We're going to need to go a little bit past 5K, but he's definitely on his way. So I'm keen to see if he can continue the momentum he's built for himself.
Indeed. Good to see Randy find some success. I feel like I watched him from the first couple years of my career, and he just couldn't get anything going, but he's finally found something that he can excel in, I guess.
He's always been good, because he always got like records in GE here and there, or he always played hot for league, but it never felt like he really like committed where he's like, I'm gonna go like in for an extended period of time. Mm-hmm. So if this is him going in for his extended period of time, like I'm definitely here for it, because I like the hard commitment.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad he can flex a little bit and show everyone that's like, hey, like I'm good, and like I've always been this good. So maybe he's put the final piece of the puzzle together and is making a run.
Yeah.
But speaking of making a run, I'm gonna hit you with something here, because here on this show, we not only champion the people who are at the peak of the mountain, but we champion those who are both climbing the mountain and are at the base trying to figure out what the fuck the mountain even is, So
okay,
I'm gonna hit.
I see where you're going.
Yes, indeed. So for the third time, I'm gonna highlight someone you've never heard of before in your life, and that's Mr. 357V and his infill PA 659.
I'm just now seeing him post a time 32 minutes ago on the front page.
Yes.
I was trying to figure out what this was. This I'm like, is that a time? And then the trivia answer? Like, what is this
no.
in
No,
our
no, no.
script?
I am I'm keeping you on your toes as one.
Very apparently.
So this guy I noticed is a guy who has just been playing a lot of Perfect Dark of the past month. Obviously not on the scale that you would notice, especially if you have all turned off on your filter. But I see him going, and he has a full times page. No videos as of yet, but maybe he's working his way, figuring that out, because he's been playing very regularly, making time cuts. And this 659 was a cut from 1656, and I've been there because infield PA is not a joke.
Dude,
Especially
I've been
figuring
there.
out.
Where are my infield PA cuts? Yeah, 10 minutes to 8 to 7 to 2.
10-minute cut is sick, especially for someone new. So hopefully this will I'm hoping that this will build into something, and he'll eventually get points, and it'll be it'll be the new startup story where it's like this guy came from nowhere where nothing, played the whole game and grinded up and got good. And so that's what I'm hoping to see. Hopefully I see it, like a 5 point at a time with a video in like the next few months. That would be fantastic.
Well, considering that we've mentioned him now on the show, he's probably going to get an Untied like next week. So
you know how these things work. We say like, oh, I wonder, this guy did this. I wonder when we'll see more from him. Oh, he did it the next day. So
I wonder when we'll see more hordes.
And then there's 2 the next day.
Literally between like the next day from us recording last episode, and then we released it obviously after those announcements have been made, but we'd already recorded, so we couldn't discuss it. But now is the time to discuss it. 2 hordes coming up soon. End of the month here in January, we have the Amalgamates, which I have to say, thank God good horde titles are back.
Yes, they're back in a big way. We're going.
Because I've mentioned this before, but as much as I appreciate what K4 was going for with the title, it's not a good horde title. Project 2020 is easily the worst titled horde of all time. I don't think you could possibly come up with a worse name. Like, most of the times weren't achieved in 2020. It had nothing to do with the year 2020. Like, looking back at 2020 now, it feels like an afterthought from 2019. Like, and Callie and I have discussed this before. He's like, yeah, it was just a working title. Like, I think Callie and I are on the same page here. So, good to see that good horde names are back in fashion.
Listen, you know how they say like fashion and styles and those sort of deals, like trends come in like cycles, like they come back. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So maybe this is the cycle for like the good names, as you put it. So maybe we're back on track.
if only. One can only hope. But exciting. Again, great to see a good horde name. I'm curious to see who's actually in it. Of course, I enjoyed in the trailer how it showed a little bit of each horde, and the part from part 11 was me putting my trumpet in the trash bin. I got a good laugh out of that. Appreciated that. Maybe you and I can talk part 11 one of these times. That's something we could go into more detail sometime.
Maybe we should do that. We should do that sometime.
But
yeah, I wonder if
go.
Wonder if Amalgamates is going to be like like a 2 or 3 man group, or if it's going to be one of like we've been accustomed to lately, where we get a nice sampler, like a nice buffet of about 6 or 7 people.
It's
have
in
a-
two
have a bit of-
parts. It's in 2 parts. I'd be shocked if it consisted of less than like 5 people.
That's a good point that I didn't take that into consideration. So yeah, it's probably a nice should be a nice 5-course meal then.
I will say, speaking of hordes with large numbers of people, we have finally another horde with less than 1,000 people in it. Coming a little bit out of nowhere, Dirty Harry, shout out to my boy Jeff, and Zach Mulak, of all people, have a horde coming.
Now, here's the thing. I vaguely remember, because last year was kind of a haze. I vaguely remember, Dirty Harry putting out like a little documentary where he was showing times that he got, times that he almost got, showing off his fancy fused 2.x controller and his custom paint jobs in N64, which those were neat and all that. And then there was an allusion to like, got a project coming out somewhere down the line, and this must be the payoff of that. Now, didn't think it would be a solo thing. Wasn't expecting Zach Mulak to be there, but that man's a bit of an enigma. He's a complete mystery.
I don't. So, does anyone understand Zach Mulak? Like, I have watched this man stream. He joined a year before I did. Like, he's just a complete mystery.
But see, that's what makes it intriguing, because you're like, this guy's in it. Why is he in it? And then you're like, if he's in it, what could he possibly have? So
I literally have no clue. That is, this may be the controversial opinion of the year. I am looking forward to Project Quarantine more than I'm looking forward to the Amalgamates.
Oh man, are you really gonna hit him with controversial opinion of the year on day 4 of the year?
Yes.
Jeez, man.
I think, and again, I have a certain philosophy here with hordes that I've alluded to a couple times on this podcast, and then other times in different conversations with people. But I like the smaller hordes more. They have more like character to them. Like, they stand out to me more. Like, that was kind of the beauty of the original Kapap, was that you saw so much character from these players. And then the green projects, it's just one man. Like, you get green, Sampap, one man, you get Samo. Like, part 11 was very much like Pauli and Flechr type deal. But then with these bigger projects, it all just kind of amalgamates, to use the term in its original definition, into something that kind of is just a horde. It's not like it doesn't have the same character.
Well, I think when you put it that way, that definitely confirms that Amalgamates is going to be like 15 people.
I should say I have absolutely no insider information. No one tells me shit. And I'm sure as hell not in it, because I was not motivated to play at all, like, this entire year, pretty much.
Again, little known fact, like, doing a video project like that is very hard if you don't play the video game. So.
That tends to be where people get stuck. Is like, I want to do a horde, but I have to play.
Like, do the horde. It's like, all right, bet. All right, go get this time. Like, what do you mean? It's like, well,
you gotta get the times. Like, what do you think?
Like, you're just like, well, I just thought I was gonna, just put Hendrix 57 in there, call it a day. It's like, nah, mate, you have to go play the game. It's like, well, I'm out of ideas.
But yeah, there's two replies to this forum thread, and it's Irie and Icy, compared to, however many 24 replies to the Amalgamates. But I wouldn't even say low key. I'm looking forward to Project Quarantine more than Amalgamates. I want to see these smaller creative projects more than the giant ones.
Here's the thing. Me can use like prior knowledge, like not insider knowledge, but like, I educated guesses. Like I can sort of guess like some of what we might get in Amalgamates. I have zero insider clue as to what Project Quarantine could be. So I that makes it intriguing to me. So yeah, I'm definitely all for it. I'll go ahead and I'll get on what are they, Fandango? What do they use to order tickets now? Do movie theaters exist anymore? I think they all
Dude, there's one near where I live that I end up driving past a lot, and I can never tell if it still functions, because like at weird times the parking lot will be full, but then like a Saturday night there's no one there, and I'm like, what is going on? I don't get it. I don't understand.
Because I thought streaming just killed all that shit. But regardless, I'll go ahead, whatever we're using these days. I'll pre-order my ticket for a Project Quarantine. If I can get the luxury box, perfect. Go ahead and put me in there. I'm ready. Now, it did say coming 2021, so like we know Amalgamates is at the end of this month. No idea when Project Quarantine
Indeed
is going to happen. But since we're speaking about it, it'll probably show tomorrow.
Yeah, no. As soon as I post the episode, they'll be like,
when you're hearing this out of order and they're showing it, we'll talk about it next week.
Yeah. Speaking of segues, LTK League has been happening, and so it's worth noting, I will often check the rankings multiple times a day when I get the chance. And sometimes when I remember. And I check it on my phone, right? So I'm using the mobile version of the Elite. And one of my biggest pet peeves with this mobile version, and I haven't talked about it at all, even though I definitely should probably tell someone. LTK times don't get links attached to them, unlike normal times. I can't sort by all, which is whatever. I get it. You just want to have less stuff on the mobile page, so it's just points or better get posted here. But like if I see that Zella gets dual DLTK 9 and I want to look at the video or like see if he had a comment or anything, I can't do that on the mobile site. I can't. There's no way to access it. But if Tyrannicide gets S2 Agent 47, there's a nice link there that I can click and look at everything, and then I get his PR history and all this other stuff. So someone please fix the mobile version so I can look at LTK times. I'm begging you.
I wonder if it's just not if it's not coded in to link it off of the LTK rankings for some reason. I don't know why it would be, but then again, I'm very not tech savvy at all. It's a wonder we can even do this show, much less. So I'm not sure about that one.
But that's the end of my rant. Please carry on with actual LTK League news.
Yes. So I don't. It's hard to say something is a success after 4 days, but at least it's off to a good start. As you can tell when you look at the rankings on mobile, that you can't see the comment or the link, but there's a lot of activity going on.
There's a ton of activity.
It's a success in terms of that. So very early, but we see the team Detective Conan Cats, led truly by example by Deep Darkness himself, going completely ballistic in the early stages of this, and showing him how it's done, just flexing his general LTK knowledge, of which he has a lot of, because there's only there's only a few So he has 4 GoldenEye DLTK times that he has not beaten, and obviously he's beaten every Perfect Dark LTK time. So a well of knowledge, and knows how to beat every level safely. So he knows what he has to do to get it done. And no better person to be a captain if you wanted someone who's just a wealth of information and knowledge and knows safe strats and tricks and what to do and what not to do. So out to an early lead. We'll see over the next week or two if it holds up, because with the bonus point system, it's very easy that even though the second place Heart of the Oak, led by another man who knows a lot in Icy, if someone just starts posting some times, that gap could close very, very quickly. And then on top of that, we've seen some new records and untieds, even because we've got the two Villa untieds on LTK by Perna and Flechr, and then we've got some fresh dual DLTK 9s coming in at fresh 9s on LTK even. And then earlier this morning, I know Zella untied Deep Sea LTK by 1 second, which wasn't petty at all. I'm more than fine with losing a record, especially to someone that's better than me on a particular stage. But you could at least do it by more than a second.
True. Always happy to see that dual action.
Yeah. So we've got. I'm looking at this. Wait, that can't be right, can it? I'm looking at sorted players by total points gained. Why does it say Joris is a -20? How is that possible? That can't be right, can it?
Joris had some LTK times, I thought.
He has 680, and it said points at ad date was 680. Now it's 660. So he's lost 20, is what you're telling me?
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, that is funny, but not like that wouldn't vanish with one completion. But
yeah,
that's just amusing.
That is amusing.
Just down there on rage quit status.
Does seem to be quite successful. I mean, who's to say? I mean, we're only on day 4. So 27 more days to go. So curious to see how the action keeps up.
I'm gonna see, because right now it's off to a blistering pace. I am, I'm pleased that the people that are playing it have embraced it and taken to it, and that there's a lot of action on it, especially by people that are non-traditional LTK players. So it seems like so far people like it. So I'm glad of that, because that shows you that outside of Summer League, you could have a shorter non-traditional league and people would be interested in playing in it. So I'm pleased with the start of that. We'll check back in a couple weeks and see where we're at, and we'll have more data then, so we can go from there, I think.
I had something else to say, and I'm definitely gonna wait to watch the fresh world records until the end of the month. One thing that I do consistently is anytime there's an untied, I try to keep up and make sure I've watched all the recent records, including LTK. So I've watched all the LTK untieds pretty much in the last 2 years. At least once they've settled down. Like if Perna decides he wants to cut second by second on Villa, I'm only gonna watch the last one. But I'm definitely gonna wait to catch up on LTK records until the end of the month. That way I'm not watching 100 runs.
So you're not you're not editing in P2PA and then he gets beaten the next day, for example.
Definitely not.
Roped in like that.
Oh man, that again, we'll talk about part 11 sometime.
Maybe episode 11. Who knows?
That could be good. Episode 11, part 11. What?
Yeah. with question marks. Is like, what's happening? Is this meta? What is happening?
Speaking of 11 minus 1, it's time for the forum recap.
Little recap for the boys of the elite.
And now that the Samobit has played and he's launched his DMCA attacks at us, the first post I'd like to bring up is Yendo did a top 10 GE players of 2020 post. Very well researched, very detailed and in-depth, covering so many things. There's some great pictures here as well.
Yes, too.
And I gotta say I like completely agree with like all the orders here.
Very strong. I'm a big fan of Gus Haunter holding the 2 controllers. I really like that one.
That one's good. I like the Callie picture with his framed 146.
If I were him, I would carry around 146 in a frame like that. I completely agree. So.
Absolutely wild, man. That Callie. Hold up. Is this what? I didn't.
You
know
think?
That. Wait.
Do you think he's in chat posting Funway like right now, even though you're offline?
I mean, if he was, it'd show up in my OBS because I have my stream layout, or I have my chat up.
Callie, I know you're listening. If every 2 weeks you just randomly decide to spam that, eventually you'll catch him. So just an idea.
I'm now seeing that Callie actually duped Statue 00217 on NTSC.
Why?
Who knows?
Who knows what a actual just manifestation of the universe's energy does when it's just completely crazy.
So I'm looking forward to going back to play Statue and getting the Callie tips, because if I get the Callie tips for Statue, I should actually be able to get 218s and not retire from Goldeneye for several months.
I mean, it would be a bit unnecessary to do such a thing, don't you think? Like, it's just a video game, mate. Like, it's just Statue. Like, don't get mad. It's an auto scroller. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. There's no reason to, go away for 7 months or anything.
Debatable.
What were we talking about?
I don't even remember.
So the Yendis post is fantastic. I had the chance to, busy with the holiday season, but I had a chance to sit down and read it, and it's formatted like he says HLTV, like in that vein, where it's nice and written out, and you get like a mini story of that person. You see like the whole picture of what they did and the breakdown of it, and the reasoning behind he put them there. And I think it was really well done, and hopefully, if not, he can do it, but maybe it would inspire other people to write similar articles, because it's a great read. And if you go to the actual Elite homepage, not the rankings page, but the homepage, it's formatted and it's right on the homepage, and it looks beautiful, and it actually has all the videos and pictures he used formatted correctly in a line and not completely broken. So tip my hat to the chef. It looks fantastic.
I actually haven't been to. Let me look. I gotta look at that right now. The-elite.net. I have to put it in manually to get there. Oh, look at that.
Oh, it's amazing, isn't it?
Oh. That's good. Oh, wow. I should try and set this as my homepage now.
Yeah, I think so too. I love the pic of boring champ Wotus just asleep in the parking lot. I like that one.
Someone needs to like change this so that rankings.the-elite.net and the just normal the-elite.net are the same page. Like, it's so weird to me that they're different pages.
I don't remember what the reasoning was behind that, or if there was one, but you know, it could be the same. It wouldn't hurt. You know, may as well go on.
I would say it should be, but yeah, I've it's been nice to see more of like our wave of players, the 2017, 2018 folks, jump in and contribute to the forums. Because I have a lot of appreciation for what the forums are, like as a medium. It's a very different place from Discord, from Twitch streams, from any other like interaction. The forums are a very unique and I would argue integral part of our community. So it's nice seeing these contributions being made.
Oh yeah, it's like night and day between, you know, you sit in a Discord and conversate, or like you said, a stream, and then but then the forum is you know, completely different place. So you know, and more excellent, you know, forum posts in 2021. I'll say it. I'll be the guy to say it. There should be more.
Speaking of good forum posts in 2021, there are posts to reply to right now. The 2021 predictions thread, which is always a fan favorite. You get a lot of very silly things posted in here every year, which is always great.
Simply a delight.
I should probably go back and look at my own predictions from... I don't know if I made any last year. I probably didn't, knowing where I was last year. But always fun to look through. People like to predict crazy things. So it's always a good time. So get your predictions in. Get your Sylvester tips in for both Goldeneye and Perfect Dark. Dust off that old forum account of yours. Get those contributions in. And there's one particular prediction in here that I like to bring up. So this was the Ace post in the 21 predictions thread, and his section on Jono, predicting Jono takes a COVID vaccine in August 2021. He is injected with a rare, slightly contaminated sample, however, that rewires certain neurons in his brain. Luckily, the only side effect is a strong hatred towards metal music. This leads to him to immediately delete all AC/DC songs from his music playlist.
Okay, I get it. I get it now.
So my and I have it in our script. Is AC/DC metal?
Well, you know, I gotta say that AC/DC is I gotta say it's not metal because, well, how many members are in AC/DC?
I think I want to say it's a 5-piece. Don't like quote me on that.
Okay, so the number really doesn't matter. Let's just say it's 5, right?
It is.
Okay.
It is a 5-piece.
Okay, and those five people are like, you know, they're living, breathing, like organic human beings. So they're not like sentient like sheets of metal, right?
Yeah.
Okay, then they can't be metal, obviously. Like it's not living metal, like duh. Like,
I was trying to figure out where you were going with that.
obviously, you know, the human body has traces of metal in it because, you know, you need iron in your diet, and there's bet you didn't know in your fucking hemoglobin in your blood there's copper in there. Did you know that? I don't know why I'm yelling.
I think I knew that. I don't know why I knew that, but I think I did know that actually.
Yeah, you know, there's a trace amount of copper in there. It helps with oxygen binding and proton pump. So you make the ATP. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Powerhouse of the cell.
Yeah, AC/DC is not metal. I don't think.
No, I mean, you could maybe if like you've never heard of metal before, you could justifiably call it hard rock at best, but I would as soon as I saw that, I'm like, does Ace know that AC/DC is like not a metal band? Like
So from a genre theory perspective, you say they're not metal, and me as a scientist, from a scientific perspective, I've proven that they're not metal. So what we're saying is AC/DC is not metal.
I mean, Wikipedia lists heavy metal as one of their genres, but like they aren't heavy metal. Like they're the old heavy metal, like, but they're not like actual metal by any stretch. And I've heard some of Jono's playlists. I know what songs Ace is referring to. Ain't none of that shit AC/DC.
One one of my favorite Jono PRs is that B1 essay where it just does the fuck going on. That's one of my absolute favorites.
I love that because I remember I was actually watching that stream and I remember Ace complaining about that song.
He PR'd to it, and I remember Jono was like, I really PR'd to this song. I was howling. It was so funny.
Oh my lord. Yeah, so I would say, as someone that actually listens to metal, I would not classify AC/DC in the metal section. Yeah, I think that's all there is to say. Although now,
let's circle back really. Let's circle. Okay, I'm composed. It's good. Let's circle back to the predictions thread really quick. I need to make mine because I love the predictions thread specifically because you get the perfect mix of trying to be a haha funny man with the wild stuff, but then the proper predictions as well. So I like those. I'm looking back on my 2019 ones, and I like the pred I made where you have a reaction so loud that it makes QWERTY age 10 years on the spot. Like, I like that one. I don't think it happened. I think he's still in elementary school, but
tragic.
Rip to QWERTY had to find out on mate chat by Samo that Santa wasn't real. That's got to be tough. Hopefully he's doing all right.
Thoughts and prayers for QWERTY in his time of need.
It equals one prayer.
Speaking of times and needs and weekly discussion, looking forward here to 2021. What are you looking forward to here as we turn over our calendars to a new arbitrary number?
I think we're as we touched on before, we're looking forward to the two horror projects that are coming out, and because people are sort of predictable. How the human condition and nature just moves in patterns. I'm sure since we hadn't basically we had Project 2020 at the start of the year and last year, and then nothing. I'm sure we'll get out 2 or 3 more. So like 2019 was the year of the horde. I guess every odd year we'll get a splash of them. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's certainly possible.
But I would argue that it's probable. But we'll see. I haven't been too wrong on detecting and following a pattern before. But this could be the time. I could be wrong.
We also you mentioned the Samo mate chat a minute ago. It sounds like we're getting Samo back as well.
Well, I would look forward to that in any year, but especially 2021. Love having the big mate back. And I know you are. He even said that you were his buddy, like not only rival but your buddy. So
I heard that. It brought a smile to my face because I've never really been like 100% sure that we were both on the same page with that. Like, because obviously we like hem and haw and hate at each other, like as part of the rival bit. But Samo is my mate, so I'm glad to see him back. Always enjoyed having him in my streams, watching his streams. And of course, I have probably followed his PTR. I followed his PTR journey probably closer than anyone. I remember my very first time ever interacting with the Elite was the night of the Bunker 2 00 speed lore. And I saw Samo in chat, and I saw that he had been messing around with those PTR times, and I mentioned like, dude, that's actually really cool that you're doing that. And that was my first ever interaction with Samo. Based on his lack of having a good memory during the mate chat, I doubt that he would actually remember that interaction between us, but I certainly do.
Maybe he wrote it down on a notepad. He's like, this guy says something nice to me. That's cool. So maybe he wrote it down.
But I like, and going back to the rival thing, like I've never been more motivated to play when I am trying to bring Samo misery. Like as much as he is my mate, and it's great having him around. It motivates me like nothing else does. Like I've had like Pogo has tried to shit talk me on numerous occasions. Like, dude, I don't care. You do you. Like I don't give a shit. Like I know you're trying to antagonize me and get yourself a rival, but like it's not the same as Samo. It's not the. It will never be the same. And the same thing. Joris is a different story, just because he's a godchild, and I can't compete with that. But like nothing can compare to Samo as the antagonist in my personal story.
As Sinead O'Connor said, nothing compares to you. Is what you're saying?
I've always. One last thing, and then we'll move on to looking back at the year again, just on this tangent. I've always wondered how the Elite, as a whole, like overall, what the general consensus is. Who is the protagonist? Who is the antagonist? Samo versus Flechr.
If I were a betting man, I would say that they would say you're the antagonist.
I would guess that too. Samo seems like the populace's man, you know. But then of course I'm obviously like I have a different perspective on the situation because I'm literally half of the equation here. But I've just always that's been a dynamic that's always been interesting to me. It's like, am I the villain?
Why the villain is like, no, it's the children who are wrong. That's how you know you're definitely the villain, man.
Tell that to my students. So let's see, what else is there? Looking forward to 2021. League is gonna happen again.
Yeah.
I don't know. Obviously, you'll be helping running it as a deputy man in charge of league related activities. Is there anything that you've had cooking, so to speak, in terms of league this year?
I've been busy with LTK League currently, but I've begun, sort of here and there. If I think of an idea for because I'll probably keep the format about the same because it seems like the most successful that it possibly could be.
I would agree. I think last year, like having been through 3 leagues now, I think last year has like things have settled into where they should be.
Maybe some there may be some minor tweak of the numbers, but overall I think it's pretty like rock solid. There's nothing like major that needs to be changed.
Mm-hmm.
I have been thinking about new and creative, weeklies and that sort of deal. So, if I have an idea, I'll usually jot it down. Or I got a server just for like league stuff, so I'll throw something in there so I don't forget it. Because if I just say, "Oh, that's a good idea," and I don't mark it down, then I'll absolutely forget it.
Been there.
I've come up with a couple of those. So, between now and then, because the summer is both like far away and not far away, because time is funny and weird like that. But
Yep.
I love to make unique ones of those that people like. So if I could return some of the fan favorites from the last leagues and come up with some new ones, so that's where I'm at right now. So you can expect like some different angles and all that. I know some people have asked about a possible like monthly thing, like an overall thing, and that is something that I'm looking into. If I can come up with like a good unique one, which I have thought about a couple. So we'll see what I can come up with between now and then. And as always, people are open to suggest me, like send me a message, or if you've got an idea, and we can tweak it and run with it, because I'm always in for feedback.
Yeah, I think the team related ones are nice, just because League. I have a different philosophy with League. Anyone that dealt with the drama of 2019 League will know this. I've always used League to further my own goals, and I don't really play to the rules of League often for my team's negative impact, I guess. To my team, what's the word I'm looking for? To my team's chagrin. Detriment. That's the word I'm looking for. My team's detriment. I've always used it as a way to further my own goals. Just because in like the fantasy league sense, I get like the team loyalty thing, but it's the fantasy leagues typically don't have, you aren't like having a conversation with Colin Kaepernick like, look, you need to fucking score this week, dude. I need this.
just call him up and be like, bro, like I need I need you to get these. I need you to get 30 yards. That's all I need.
That's all I need. That's all I'm asking for. But it's interesting seeing that in this context, the teams do end up meaning a lot more. So I like seeing more benefits, more incentive, I should say, to go for some of those team goals.
Because that's my my philosophy when trying to like balance it is like I don't want one person to like break the entire system. I like it when it's a team game and a team participation thing. So I know, like, for example, like one of the favorite goals of League last year was the week where it was like PR on every mission, but an individual can only get like so many of them. Yeah. So it had to be a effort no matter what.
I think everyone liked that but Samo.
Well, that's because he had to play attack. Which, again, like I said in the chat of the mate chat, that stream should be archived in the Library of Congress for future generations to watch. Because
of significant cultural importance.
It was so wonderful. I enjoyed every second of it, and I can hear Samuel saying "fuck you," and like I'll take that on the chin, mate. I understand, but it really do be like that sometimes.
Oh. So yeah, League. It sounds like there's going to be a sequel to the Brabham Cup,
which love that. I love Match Cup. I'm glad that it took off and became a thing that everyone just likes, and they like doing outside of the context of an organized competition. So it's super super fun. I might even, you know what? I might hop in the G1 this time. I might just do it.
There you go. I'm almost tempted to join the GE1. Depends where I'm at mentally is going to be the thing, considering how busy I am these days.
Seated, you know, we might play each other in the first round. How would that be for content?
That would be the funniest shit ever.
I gotta hope you be like scary and fail A. So that's what I gotta hope for.
You mean Scriber?
Yeah, of course.
So we know those things are coming. Are there any like games coming out this year? I'm not aware of any 2021 major game releases.
I'm gonna be honest. I can't. I'm sure there are some. I can't really think of one off the top of my head, but I very rarely like buy games brand new these days. So
I mean, I very, very, very rarely do as well. There are very few developers that I will buy something at full price from.
The last game I bought on release day was Spelunky 2 because I love Spelunky 1. So I bought Spelunky 2 on release. I think that's the last time, and the time before that I honestly couldn't tell you.
Yeah, pretty much all I buy like these days is the occasional Nintendo game. I generally trust what they're putting out.
I don't have to buy LTTP Rando. I can just make one.
That's true. And pretty much the only developer I've consistently bought at or near full price for is From Software, the people that make the Dark Souls games.
Well, they're pretty good at what they do.
Yeah, and I've loved all of those games. If I had next gen, I would have bought Demon's Souls. Demon's Souls may be what eventually pushes me to get a PS5, honestly. Yeah, I'm looking through this list. There's really no names sticking out to me.
But I would really like some news on Elden Ring. You know, speaking of From Software.
I have no idea what to make of that. I'm not sure. It sounds like a game I'm gonna end up playing. But
even if I don't play it, I can end up watching someone else play it, and that'll be good for me. So
that's true. I imagine it'll be good content either way. Be curious.
Thinking that, I still haven't played Sekiro, and I still want to.
It took me a while to get into it. Like, it took me a while to like figure out what the hell I needed to do, because I pretty much played it like I played Dark Souls 3 and Bloodborne, until like the final boss. Of my first playthrough.
Were you got punished for playing like you were playing?
And yeah, then that final boss, like, try to play it like Dark Souls, you're gonna fucking die and not do anything good at all. So I had to I stepped away from the game for like 3 months, or maybe even longer than that. Like, I want to say it was closer to a year before I finally went back, beat it, and then once I figured out how to actually play it, I'm like, oh, I get it now. This is cool and fun. So you gotta commit to the bit of what they're pushing in that game, and then it becomes really good.
That would be a good hashtag. Commit to the bit.
Commit to the bit. That would be a good hashtag. We need a new one. It's mostly me that uses it, but like, it's been more of a collaborative effort between the two of us. Ever since Take Control 2019, which I'm still owed royalties for. Come on, guys.
Yeah, come on, cut the.
Like, I think Luke still owes me like $40 or something. And I know Luke listens to this. So Luke, where's my? I actually don't remember what the exact. I'd have to find the forum post.
That was a. That was such a. That was such a hilarious post that several people took serious for some reason. I'm not
Yeah.
sure why. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure why certain people thought that was real. I don't understand that. But...
It wasn't the British government listed as well because of a headline talking about take
Yeah,
control.
yeah. I saw it trending on Twitter, and then there was something Parliament, something take control. I was like, I got their ass.
But yeah, so for those of you that have no idea what in the hell we're talking about, every year that I've played, I've had some hashtag. It's in all my YouTube descriptions. I have it on my Twitch page. 2018, it was hashtag gotta start somewhere 2018 because I was just starting. 2019 was hashtag take control 2019, which we originally established in part 11, which released right at the start of the year. Actually, tomorrow is the 2-year anniversary of part 11.
Oh,
Yeah.
now.
So there's your fun fact of the PTR.
Has it really been 2 years? We just put that out.
Yes, it's absolutely. I've been playing almost for 3 full years now, which is mind blowing to me. That my career anniversary comes up here in 2 months. But and then 2020 was hashtag keep grinding 2020. And this year the one that I'm currently using, I'm not committed to it yet, is hashtag listen to PTR 2021.
Listen to this. Watch this space.
But I've had a couple others that I thought about. Hashtag patience is key is a good one. There's one we just mentioned it earlier in this episode. Commit to the bit. I kind of like that.
The bit. Listen, that I'll be honest with you. Commit to the bit is just silly enough for you to like it.
That might have to be it, honestly. Hashtag commit to the bit 2021.
I mean, you may not use it, but like you got to think about it,
I mean, either way, it becomes it's the default in my YouTube descriptions. So any time I'm posting a video, that becomes the default.
Crack up in a video and it just says commit to the bit. I'd be like, yes. I'd be like, he's done it again.
I think that's too. It even commit to the bit. It's got the alliteration, assonance, whatever the hell it is.
It has the thing.
It has the bit where the bit and the commit. It's
yeah. Mm-hmm. See,
it hits.
It's already working.
Okay, so that was a quick and easy discussion. We got that new hashtag. Hashtag commit to the bit 2021.
That's it.
Tell your friends. Don't use it. We will be charging royalties once again.
Yes, tell everybody, but don't tell anybody.
Spread the word to not use the hashtag. Which is exactly the point of a hashtag, isn't it? To not fucking use it.
I better see one letter in that phrase like censored, like Glover does "dang" when he posts it.
Yes.
I better censor in there, or else.
Oh goodness. Well, anything else looking here towards the new year?
I mean, and related, I'm actually looking, I'm actually looking forward to school. Kind of want this doctorate degree, to be honest.
Nice.
So, looking forward to that. So I'm on board for that.
That reminds me. Actually, I'll send you a message here soon. I'm considering taking a little trip during spring break. A little trip to, I don't know, Georgia. So I need to figure out when spring break actually is. I actually don't know.
That would be an insane trip. Hopefully the skies are a lot more clear if you you understand my terminology, because I'm
Yes.
referring to. Yeah. So
Yes.
hopefully, hopefully we can put that behind us in 2020. You know what I mean? Don't have to worry about those things. Much longer.
Indeed. So maybe we'll be able to do an in-person PTR.
I mean, it would only be right. Cal's doing in-person couch interviews like Johnny Carson.
That's true. We gotta get on that. Like, we're behind the curve already.
Yeah, we have to keep up with the Joneses, as they're saying.
keep up with the Brabham.
Well, that doesn't really roll off the tongue very. I'm not even sure.
It doesn't, but I said it anyway.
Listen, Al, but if you think him and his hair are gonna, beat us, he's got another thing coming.
It's not a real competition. Love you, Cal.
You know what I mean?
Indeed, gotta love that elite flavored content, as I like to refer to this podcast.
The EFC, yes.
Yes. Well, I mean, just looking, like, as far as schedule goes, we put one of these out every 2 weeks, 52 weeks in a year. That's what, 26 episodes of PTR.
Imagine that. We might eventually be the longest running podcast.
I don't think we have to go that much farther to actually be the longest running podcast.
That thread post where Jory's posted the old ones, I think the longest one was 9. So if we can get the double digit,
yeah, we're probably already, like, really close. I'm trying to find that forum post now. GoldenEye Perfect Dark talk shows. So there was season 1, which had season 1 of the DK and Comet show. Oh, that's a really old one. That had 8 episodes, and then season 2 had 10 episodes.
Oh.
Season 3 had 2. Okay, so that's one that's not talked about as much. That's on the End Gamer. Interesting.
Yeah. So that's 18 if you're looking at that.
Everything else has not made it that far. Speed lore, it does not count.
That's not really. I mean, that's not really a talk show in the.
Yeah, no. We're competing with the podcasts here, and we're already doing pretty well. We're almost tied with the elite podcast that Softman did.
Yeah, that's a Softman.
Dude, some insane guests. We gotta start. We'll do some short guest interviews at some point. That's on the to-do list.
Well, you know the one guest we have to have.
Samo?
Yes, of course.
Well, yeah. I mean, like, this show is, like, so much of the, like, creative property of this show is either Samo related, or, like, literally just taking stuff that Samo made.
Yeah.
I mean, even the acronym. The acronym is fucking PTR. Like,
the image from the video. Yeah, don't sue, mate. It's all, Don't do it, mate. Commit to the bit.
It's just a bit, man.
Quick aside, before we move forward from the discussion, but whose idea was it to get the mirror out for the mirror streams?
I legitimately don't remember. It could have been Alka, because Alka was not yet banned in my stream at that time.
He said he thought it was him, so I was wondering if it was actually him, or it could have been. It could have been it.
It was an idea recommended by multiple people at different times, so it is totally possible that Alka was one of the people to mention doing a mirror stream. I don't believe he was the original. I'm trying to think who. I have like a very vague recollection of who was the one to actually suggest it. I don't think it was one of my regulars at the time. I think it was someone that came in only a couple times. Damn. I can't remember. Alka probably like suggested it at some point, but he was not the only one. And I don't think he was the first, because it was mentioned a couple times before I actually did it.
Well, I think that even if it serves like no function or utility, like because you stream with the camera, you should just have like a mirror in the background with no context sometime.
I don't think I own that exact. I own a very similar mirror now. Not that exact mirror, but a very similar one.
Just have it sitting in the bag, even if it's reflecting like absolutely nothing. Just have it there and just be like, oh, well, you know, don't even mention it. Just put it there. See if anyone's paying attention.
Yeah. Oh wait, is this the? You know who I think it was? I'm remembering. I think the first person to suggest the mirror was Chuck Steeg. I want to say it was him. I cannot confirm that. That is not a part of Flechr lore that was written down or added as a quote. So I can't say definitively, but I want to say it was someone like Chuck Steeg, someone that had been in my stream often for a while, and just happened to recommend it one day. Would have been the first. I want to say it was him. Again, cannot say for certain.
Well, that's a lead we have. So
my memory's generally pretty good, so I would say that's like a good start. But you'd have to somehow go back and dig out those old stream archives, which don't exist because the webcam streams weren't recorded locally.
You know, some magic wizard would have to find a way to get them out of there. So
yeah, they were on Twitch for a while, however long Twitch Prime users get, like 2 months or something.
I think it's 2 months. Yeah.
Yeah, I get that extra length on my Twitch VODs, which has always been kind of nice. It's the only reason I was able to do my Month of Aztec video, was because I was able to go back to those stream VODs much later. So, is anything else for 21? I think
we've got it covered. You know, I don't like to lay out too much. I'm a bit of a choose your own adventure kind of guy. So, you know, I don't want to lay out too much. I just want to, you know, let it happen and see where it takes me.
Yeah, I've always been a bit more of a watcher than a like contributor, or whatever you want to say it. Sit back and soak.
I've got my niche, but I'll be watching though. So.
Indeed. So jumping into other games now. So over break, I was like, dude, I'm gonna stream GoldenEye, and then I didn't. But I did get Doom Eternal on sale for $20, and played through it. Fantastic game. If you played the Doom that came out in 2016 and enjoyed it, honestly, if you like first-person shooters, play Doom and Doom Eternal if you haven't. They are fantastic games. Cannot recommend them enough. But
I have not Eternal, but I did play, like, you know, Doom itself, and that game was beyond excellent, I thought.
Yeah.
So I have no doubt that Doom Eternal was, you know, could be right there in terms of quality. So
I had a lot of fun with it. I finished it. I beat it the night that Ohio State beat Clemson. It was a good time. I beat Doom Eternal, and Dabo got beat the fuck up. It was amazing.
Shout out to Justin Fields.
I was playing Doom Eternal while my phone had the game up on the side because I was so convinced we were going to lose. I wasn't paying that close attention until we were up by a lot, and then I'm like, yes, give me more of this.
All right, time to get it in. Well, you played Doom Eternal with Ray. I actually played 2 games over the break. I got on sale, and I played What the Golf. Have you seen this? Have you heard of this?
What the Golf?
Yeah. So as you can probably deduce, it's a golf game, but it's a golf game, as they say, the creators, for people who hate golf. So a lot of the times, you're put in these wacky scenarios where.
I have seen this game before.
Yeah. So one hole, right? So the guy's at the ball, as you do in golf. He's going to hit the ball with a club, and you pull back the stick for the power, and you let it go. And then instead of the ball going forward, the guy's body falls forward.
I think there's a donkey video on this.
To get him to the hole instead of the ball.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of shenanigans like that where sometimes you're controlling a car, and sometimes you're a soccer ball and you have to dribble past all the people trying to stop you and kick it into the goal, and that's the hole. So it's like a silly golf game, mini game, puzzle game, sort of like that, which I beat. I haven't gone back and done all the challenges yet, but I will, because I'm the kind of guy that does 100% completion on things. If it's not absurd, you know what I mean? Like I'm not out here. I'm not going to play like a GTA game to 100% completion where they have like all these absurd, obscene things they want you to do. Like go do all these graffiti things, and there's 200 of them, and it's a giant map. It's like,
I think
I don't have time for this.
I think I 100%ed GTA 5. Not the silliest 100% I've ever done, actually. But I tend to be one to go for 100% as well, as long as it's not stupid.
Do that, but I'm also realistic where it's like I know I'm not, I'm not 15 years old. I don't have just time to sink into doing.
Yeah, I definitely don't do it as much as I used to. When I was younger, I did it with like so many things, but I don't do it as much now.
No question. But I played that and I beat it, and I'll go back and do the challenges. And I also I finished my first run of Sonic Mania, which I have never really played a lot of 2D Sonic before, but I love platformers, as you could tell from my love of Donkey Kong Country and things of that nature. As someone who's like not like a Sonic guy, like not super into it, never owned like Sega stuff, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great.
Nice. Well, I should say that I put the Doom Eternal bit here for a reason, not to talk about games we recently played. Great tangent though. So one of my traditions is when I beat a game, I watch the speed run. Typically I watch any percent. Sometimes I'll throw in an additional category as well, depending on the game and how long the runs are. Like, obviously I don't do this for every game. Like when I beat Pokemon Sword, I'm like, oh, 4-hour run. Nope, not watching that. I pretty much know what happens anyway. But so I watched the Doom Eternal runs, and oh my lord, they are insane. The like level of execution, especially I watched 100% Ultra Nightmare. Hardest difficulty, Ultra Nightmare, I'm pretty sure is if you die in the game, you die in real life. So these guys are really putting their lives on the line here with these runs.
In real life, you say? That's wild.
I know, that was obviously a joke. It's like permadeath, I believe. So if you die, you have to start over entirely.
Wait till get VR going and you actually do die in real life.
That's the next step. But I watched those runs, and I was legitimately mesmerized the entire time. Like I think the Ultra Nightmare 100% run is like 2 hours long, and I'm like, oh my god, I just watched that entire thing, and it felt like I watched it for 5 minutes. Like absolutely wild. If you've played Doom Eternal or just like watching good speedruns, watch those runs, because oh my lord, they're so cool.
Now, I haven't watched the speedrun of it, but I have been enjoying every now and then Kaido will do runs of Doom Eternal.
I've
and,
seen that.
Shout outs to our boy Kaido, and I've enjoyed watching it myself, so it's been a fun game to watch. So I imagine at the highest level, yeah, that would be a crazy run.
Yeah, and I know Carl put out a bunch of videos on Doom Eternal runs because Doom is one of his bits for his channel vids. And of course, it's the classic, like, this Doom Eternal speedrun is insane, and I'm here to tell you that it ain't a meme. It ain't a meme.
This one time, for sure, like the red circle with the red arrow, it's real. It's okay. Like, we mean
It's not a meme. They're fucking absolutely bonkers. So recommend checking that out if that's something you're interested in. Another thing to check out if you're interested in it, AGDQ is happening right now as we speak. I don't really watch any of the big marathons, but I know a lot of people do. So what have we got? Up next is Dark Messiah of Might and Magic. So
I know that one.
Yeah, no idea. But we got some Dishonored 2, bonus game of Skyrim, glitchless main quest. Now that is a category.
How long is that?
Estimate's an hour and a half.
That sounds about right.
So,
But with the Bethesda game, you if you don't slap glitchless on it, you're gonna get some shenanigans for sure.
oh well, obviously, and it's Skyrim. Everyone, even casual people, know Skyrim is pretty broken.
I gotta say, I don't really watch like major marathons like that. Like, not anymore. If it's a good run for someone I know, I'll like to check in and all that. But it's not like back in the day where it's like oh, I'm gonna sit down, like I'm gonna have the marathon on the whole week. Now that's probably because by now the novelty of it is worn off just for me personally. But plenty of people still like it, and they're still going at it, and I like good for them. I'm glad they're still trucking along, despite the additional difficulties of current things.
Yeah, I believe they're doing a digital version of the whole thing.
Certainly hope so.
So check that out if you're into that. Some actual news of other games now. SMB1 has another new world record because of course it does. The most maxed game just getting more maxed. I'm trying to find the exact post.
Well, you know how it is, where it's just like, okay, this record, it's dead. We're never getting another one, and then 3 months later, we usually get another one. I had not. When did this happen? I'm not. I wasn't too. I haven't been up on the speedrun landscape lately.
All right, say that again. I completely blanked.
Oh, I was saying, like, how recently ago, like, was this record dropped? Because I didn't notice it personally.
Oh, literally, like, very, very recently, like only a couple days ago. Pass. I'm trying to find the post. It was on the speedrun subreddit. Help me out. General Reddit algorithms. Shit. Well, I know it's here somewhere. So shout out to whoever got it. I don't remember who it was. It was not a name I was familiar with. So
what happens? It seems like we get plenty of people sneak up and come out of nowhere and pocket things of this nature.
Yeah. But moving right from SMB1 to SMB2, speedrunning content still going strong. Summoning Salt put out an SMB2 vid. It's a pretty good one. Like, he's kind of fallen into his own little format. for better or worse. But I thoroughly enjoyed the SMB2 episode.
You know, here's the thing. As a meme, I like to give Summoning Salt a bit of a cheeky prod, like a little bit of shit where it's like he's like, new video coming. I was like, here we go, Banshee Boardwalk, more Mario Kart, yay, yeah. I like to do that. But at the end of the day, no, man's doing it big. He's putting out good vids. I liked some of the more recent ones where he's telling a bit more of a story in like an abstract way instead of only just like a timeline sort of manner that he was doing.
Yeah.
So I like that wrinkle that he's been putting in, and I will watch the Mario Brothers 2 one because in the time of long ago, I did watch a lot of Mario 2, and I also rather like Mario 2, so I will definitely be watching that vid in the near future. So
yeah, I mean, he's the one to like popularize the speed running world record progression, like history video. Like, I feel like he was the one to do that first, or at least do it in the biggest way.
He's definitely the one to do it in the biggest way, because I can't even think of anybody else in that vein. You know what I mean? That was doing that.
Then, especially, there are a lot more people doing it now, but
right. And I'll say it. I'm glad that more people are doing it now because I like consuming it. So
true. Always a fan of speedrunning content.
Always a fan. Listen, if you serve the plate and it looks good and it smells good and it tastes good, I'll eat it. So it's really that.
It's that easy. Let's
quick,
see.
Before we take another step into that, I just want to circle back and say that the SMB record was achieved 2 days ago by Miniland from the UK.
There you go. Shout out to Miniland. Sorry that I couldn't find the post. Apparently I'm just stupid.
We got you, mate. Shout out to Miniland, and he got it on console, which I know that most people like.
I would agree.
Just as
and then last update, of course, this category ends up being in every video because it's probably the only category in any game outside of GoldenEye Perfect Dark that I personally like follow relatively closely. So it's a little bit of personal bias, but it's such an interesting run that I'm obsessed with it. But
we told them we would be back here.
Yes, I literally, like, last week it was like, oh, this person got the world record. Like, we're probably talking about ZFG getting it back. And sure enough, actually, he got, I think, because Glitchy got it by like a couple seconds, and then ZFG went and bashed off a few more minutes. So we're currently sitting at 3:12:55, unless he's PR'd in the stream that is currently live. Let me check to just make sure I have the most up to date.
I'm not sure Emperor is in. I think it'll be.
Okay. So anyone listening to the podcast just heard ZFG talk because I forgot to mute his stream. So shout out to ZFG and his little cameo here in the podcast. Please don't DMCA me.
Our first guest. Wow.
Our first guest. Well, no, Samo would be the first guest, technically.
I see. Okay.
But anyway, new record, 3:12:55. 10th try Dampe, I believe, which loses a ton of time, among other issues. So he's definitely going for the sub 3:10. And we are creeping ever closer to that sub 3 mark. Which is insane, because I remember when sub 4 happened. I remember Eric was watching a lot of ZFG at the time, and Eric made a big deal when sub 4 happened. It was huge news. But the fact that we're even this close, it doesn't seem like with the current route it'll happen. Like not even his sum of best right now is sub 3. Let me pull it up again, and I muted him this time. Perfect. Okay, his sum of best just recently went under sub 3, but like sum of best in a 3-hour run is like not a reasonable goal. So, but we may see it with a new reroute, a new trick or two coming in. But it's already so broken, and there's only so much that you can like cut out from the run.
I mean, you're right, and we say that, but what insane wacky trick will they find when they turn the controller upside down next week that cuts 10 minutes time?
Dude,
I mean,
like, just thinking about the way the run is now, they are literally warping from place to place, picking up just what they need to and moving on. Like, they're like, one of the best parts of the run is when ZFG does one of these glitched warps, and you've played Ocarina of Time, right?
yes, of course.
The Happy Mask shop?
Right.
So one of the warps just happens to bring him in above the Happy Mask shop, but in that cell. So the warp is him, and then Link screams, crashes behind the desk in the Happy Mask shop, and then just walks out as if nothing happened. Like that's in the run. That is part of the run. It is not a meme. Like, this is an actual thing that is in the route. It's easily the best part of the route. It's absolutely hilarious to watch. But like, they're warping everywhere. Just, it's absolutely wild. Like, the original route with this nonsense, it could only be done as child Link, but now they can do it as adult Link too. So they're literally like warping constantly. It's like, we're reaching like a theoretical limit of like, there's just too much shit to pick up. Like, they have to pick up all the gold skull tokens. They have to pick up all the items and everything. Like, there's a limit at some point.
Dude, you don't really think about the fact that there's 100 of them tokens until you start getting them, and you're like, shit, there's 100 of these.
Yeah, like, and that's the big thing. Like, and the main thing that holds this run back from just being stupid, there actually are stupid 100% categories, because depending on whether it requires what's known as the source requirement, like this is the 100% that we're talking about. 100% SRM is allowed, which is stale reference manipulation, and then it's also source requirements. So he has to get all of the items from the game from their original sources, because otherwise you could just dupe heart pieces like 40 times. You could dupe gold Skulltulas 99 times and just get them all in one fell swoop and not have to run around collecting them all. But the reason why this is like getting difficult is because you still have to pick up all this stuff, because you have to get it from the original source.
Right.
That's just part of the rule set. Because of course I think the no source requirement is like absolutely stupid. Like, let's speedrun.com Ocarina of Time 100%. It might be in category extensions, NSR. 100% no source requirement. The record's 30 minutes. Like,
all right.
So and pretty much all you do is just type for a very long time, which is, yeah. So
if they can type for a very long time, they should be doing it on the forums, like we said before. That's what they should be doing it at.
Yeah. So shout out to ZFG's new 100% record. Obviously, there will probably be a new one by next week, because that's just the way this goes. But that brings us through other games and to our person of the pod. I picked this one. He was #1 GE player of 2020 in the Yendo post. He's our person of the pod today. The lad, the one and only C-Dubs, Cali W, Mini Sparkin, whatever the hell you want to call him. 90s lover boy, I think is currently his nickname in my Discord.
I think he said on I'm not sure if he's doing it. I think he might be doing it. But on Melee Netplay, he said he changed his name to Pauli W, which I'm totally fine with. Totally fine with that.
But shout out to the lad C-Dubs. Easily one of the people that watches my stream the most. Big fan of the Funway spam. Absolute mate. I've gotten a lot of good GE advice from him. Great guy, great player. What else is there to say, dude? Shout out to C-Dubs.
Yeah, big love for Cali. He's welcome. If he's ever in the States, he's welcome at my table anytime.
Indeed. All right, going to the Q&A again. If you have questions for us to answer, we will literally answer just about anything you throw our way, as evidenced by talking about toasters and attacking people with books. Whatever it is, give us the question however you want to reach it. I've gotten a lot of DMs from people with questions. And the two questions today are from Dr. Light, who we may have sneakily alluded to earlier in this episode. I won't say when. I'll let you figure that out. But he submitted a couple questions to me, and I thought they were pretty good questions. The first question: top 3 cartoons.
Okay. Now you see, this might be kind of tough because there's some absolute belters out there that you can pick from. Let's see. You want to go? I say one, you say one, or do you want to do all 3 in a row?
We'll do 1 and 1. Why not?
Okay, so I'm gonna take the first pick, and for the first pick in a top 3 cartoon is not only is it a top cartoon, it's just a top show. It's just fucking good. You know what I'm saying? It's just it's not like a kid show. It stands on its own merits. I'm gonna take Hey Arnold with my first pick.
Nice. I watched a little bit of that growing up. I feel like not a ton, but definitely some. Why is this post not helping me? What?
Me, it's great. It's just like it's just kids being kids and growing up and figuring shit out. But they're all eccentric in their own way. But they feel this. Depending on who you ask, this could sound kind of pretentious, but the characters they feel they feel real, they feel human. You know what I mean? They don't feel contrived. It feels good to watch it. So when they succeed, you're you root for them, and when they fail, you're like oh damn it, they're I don't know if I can do it, but you're 8 and you're at the TV you can do it, come on man, you got it. So you get into it that way. So an excellent show that I would rewatch today and thoroughly enjoy. Just fantastic.
I'll throw out one of the standards from my generation, at least. We're basically in the same generation. You're a little bit older than me, but basically the same. Definitely gotta go with SpongeBob, which is kind of almost a meme answer, oh, Mr. Classy Pants over here, in SpongeBob. But I actually rewatched the first few episodes of season 1. I one of my earlier memories is the debut of SpongeBob and actually remembering those first couple episodes originally airing. watching all those old episodes all the time on TV. Back when I actually watched TV, but I rewatched the first couple episodes because it'd been so long since I'd actually watched any, and not just seen the memes from them. And oh my god, they're so fucking funny, man. Like the first episode, SpongeBob is going to get his job right at the Krusty Krab because he doesn't have it yet. Squidward's already working there. Squidward has been SpongeBob's neighbor, already established as his neighbor, slightly earlier on in the episode. And Squidward's just wiping off the glass on the front door. It says loser and has his face printed on it. He's just wiping it off. And he sees SpongeBob coming up. He's like, why is SpongeBob here? And then he looks over and there's the help wanted sign in the window. He's like, oh shit. And he runs in and starts trying to tell Mr. Krabs, like, dude, you cannot hire this man. And SpongeBob comes in, starts talking to Mr. Krabs, and Mr. Krabs is being very coy, like, I don't know if you'll be a good fit here. And SpongeBob's like, Squidward can vouch for me, and they go off to the side of the room. Squidward looks at Mr. Krabs for a second, saying nothing. No. And then they walk back. And then Mr. Krabs is like, all right, find this impossible spatula. And when you do, come back and you get the job. And they're just like, we got rid of him. Like, there's none of this shit. And looking at that now as an adult, like as a kid, I'm like, okay, SpongeBob just has to do this pretty difficult thing, but he'll do it and it'll be fine. But as an adult, I'm like, oh my fucking god, that's so funny.
It's definitely one of the I mean, it's one of the most successful cartoons of all time at this point. Like, that's pretty undisputed.
Oh, easily.
One of my favorites is you know the episode where it's formatted like it's like an employee training video.
Yes.
Like, that's one of the best episodes of any show ever made. Like, that's fantastic.
Oh my god. Like, there's so many just weird episodes that, like, if you look at it in terms of like the medium and want to look at it as Mr. Fancy Pants talking about like the culture and of cartoons as a medium, like there's so much weird shit that they do in that show that like no one else would have gotten away with, but it just fits so well with the way the show was written. And it's one of those rare shows that was enjoyable as a kid, and you look back now and it is maybe even more enjoyable now because you notice so much more. Like, I just watched the first couple episodes of season 1, as I said, and like the sexual tension between Sandy and SpongeBob is so funny. Like, and it's I know you weren't expecting me to talk about that. No one was. But but oh my god, like, wow, what the, like, if you watch the episode, the karate episode, do you know which one I'm talking about? Where they're like trying to not do karate and try to just lead normal lives. If you replace the word karate with sex, oh my god, I was practically on the floor crying with laughter watching that episode.
Changes the entire dynamic of the episode.
It does. And then it was either it's an episode, a couple episodes before that, when SpongeBob goes to visit Sandy in her tree dome, the water episode, right? Another classic. But there's so much like tension there as well. It's insane watching it now. Like, I'd never would have even occurred to me to think about it that way, but it's so obvious now watching it.
Jeez, man. I wasn't expecting this. I wasn't taking this step.
I sorry for going there, but it had to be said. It had to be said. I've probably changed quite a few people's look on SpongeBob now forever. So I apologize.
Yeah, especially like, especially the older, like the earlier episodes of that show, like they still hold up. They're excellent. Like, very funny. And like you said, that you notice a lot more when you're an adult and you go back to it, and you're like, oh, I see what you're doing there.
Yep. Well, there's one of the top 3 for each of us. We're just kind of improvising here. We don't really have a set. I don't have a set order.
No, speaking of shows where you notice a lot more as an adult than you do when you're a kid. The next show I'm gonna have to take is another absolute banger, just another absolute classic, and I'm gonna have to take Dexter's Laboratory.
I watched a little bit of that. I didn't watch as much of it. We were more of a Nickelodeon family than a Cartoon Network family. But we watched both.
I mean, we mainly had Cartoon Network on, but we'd be flipping back and forth because I gotta Speaking of another show, real quick, I had to watch some Fairly Odd Parents. That was good. I had to check in on that.
I would agree. I'm almost tempted to throw that in as one of mine because that's one I watched quite a lot of.
It had a run. You can't deny it. It had a long run. It was good. No. But so you watch that, and it's funny on its own because it's slapstick, and it's it's a lot of humor of Dexter getting his comeuppance for being a jerk, or he's being annoyed by his sister and whatnot. But then you go back and watch it now, and there's so many adult jokes that you had no chance of getting because you're like 9. But at 19 you go back and you're like, oh my god. Like, how did they get that past the editor? Like, how and it's so much, and you're like, how is that, and why is Dexter's mom's hips bigger than her entire body? What is happening here? Like, why did they do that?
I mean, I can think of 3 good reasons. This episode has taken a weird turn. Another one I'll mention. I'm trying to keep it to because I imagine with his inspiration phrasing it as cartoons. I'll throw out an honorable mention just because I don't think anyone would call this a cartoon. But I have to throw out a mention to BoJack Horseman, which I would throw more in the category of adult animated TV series.
Right.
But absolutely fantastic. It would definitely top my list. It's probably my favorite show of all time. But I don't think it fits in this particular listing. But I had to mention it.
No, I would agree with you. I would think that's not the angle I was looking for. But what's the actual second cartoon you're looking at?
The next, I think the second would have been. I think we've just kind of bounced around. I'll say my 3 as SpongeBob, Fairly Odd Parents, and then a bit more of a recent show actually, Phineas and Ferb. Because I watched a fair amount of the earlier seasons when they were first coming out. I wasn't watching as much TV at the time. I'm remembering now a bunch of other good ones. I have to throw in somewhere The Amazing World of Gumball. I don't know where, but I haven't watched much of that show. But what of it I have watched is so good.
Pretty powerful because they be doing wild shit in that, especially with the animation where they just hit you with the mix-up.
Yeah, it's it's so meta in a lot of ways too, and I've always liked meta humor. So
I can probably tell that in the show.
Yeah, no kidding. So I've thrown out some names. We'll say just pick 3, and it's probably pretty close.
Oh, the last one I'm gonna throw out is a slapstick classic, but it also has sneaky good writing if you pay attention to it. And it's also meta and fourth wall breaking humor that we both enjoy, and that's Ed, Ed and Eddie.
Oh yes, another one I watched some of, not a ton of. I keep remembering other ones as well, like Tom and Jerry. I watched a ton of Tom and Jerry, which is like well before my time, right? Like those are old cartoons. But the thing was, we had Boomerang, right? And they had all the old cartoons on Boomerang. And when I was homesick from school, the only thing on TV was Boomerang.
That's where you got the Tom and Jerry in. Look,
So if I was sick, I watched fucking Tom and Jerry like all day, and it was amazing.
I'm big into the Tom and Jerry as well. It's I think it's great. They used to show it all the time on like regular Cartoon Network. So I was with Tom and Jerry heavy. I especially love the episodes with the dog, where you get the third dynamic, and so you got the Jerry being chased by Tom, and then Tom's being chased by the dog, and then Jerry ends up hitting Tom with like a shovel or something. You know, just classic slapstick humor.
So much good content there. Yeah, so there's a second weekly discussion on cartoons. Another question.
More
Goodness. We're running over the 2-hour mark. Of course, I said before this episode, like, of course, this will be one of the shorter ones, and it's becoming the longest in PTR tradition.
Always say that. Yeah, of course. So.
It's okay. We have to compete with a 5-hour long mate chat with Samo. So we're just
we just want a healthy second place. I don't think we can beat that.
Oh no, I will probably be asleep before that point. Last question here. Also, Dr. Light. Favorite PR not worth points.
I know that's a bit open-ended. Does that mean like, overall, or like my own, or?
I would say it's your PR is how it's phrased originally.
No, that's what I would.
So favorite PR of yours, not worth points.
Let me have a look. Let me see if this is pointless. Oh, dude, it's not yet. No.
Well, I would even say that the way it's phrased, it is favorite PR of yours that was never worth points. Like when you got it, it wasn't even worth points.
Because it would definitely, if it was pointless, it would definitely be the Aztec run where I threw the nade in the mine in the it would absolutely be that one.
That's a fair assessment. But no, I think he wants a time that was not worth points when you got it, but is your favorite in that category.
Let me see.
While you're thinking, I'll go ahead and answer mine because as soon as he asked this question, I knew. Can you guess what level?
Is it Village Gay?
No, that's not a bad guess though.
I thought you were going with that.
No, it's gotta be Cavs SA 138. Absolutely, hands down, no question there. The start of the Samo Fletcher rivalry pretty much spawned almost entirely from my 138 video. Absolutely one of my favorite things ever. Like, it's such an awful run. Like, it's so bad. But I cannot help but get hyped every time I watch that video, even though the run is absolute dog shit.
Cal said it was one of his favorite videos, period.
Yeah, Cal mentioned that in the mate chat. Like, it's easily one of his favorite pieces of Elite content. Like, and that has got to be my favorite time I've ever achieved not worth points. When I got that time, as soon as he made that post, I went hard for it probably only took me 2 hours to get it, maybe less than that. But I went hard and I made this epic video, released it. I'm like, oh my god, this is hype. So that's my answer. I don't think there's another time that I've achieved in the was pointless category that even comes close. This is far and away the one.
It definitely wasn't Duel 6 on PAL.
No, because it
Definitely
shouldn't be
wasn't that.
pointless.
Oh man, now you've gone.
We're not going to get on
Now-
another tangent. Just answer the question.
Now you've only gone and done it. Let me think. Favorite time of mine? Well, I mean, it's hard to pick. Did I have an insane? Oh, you know what? I'm actually gonna say my favorite time I ever got that wasn't worth points was the first time in my life I completed Infiltration PA, which was in 2018. So I had played PD, in 2000 when it came out, and I played the XBLA remake on 360, which was like 2008, 9, something of that nature.
Sure.
And I never played, never beat PA. I didn't even know. I knew Mayan and War existed, but I never unlocked them. I never unplayed them until 2018. So I have the stream archive's gone, of course, but I streamed playing Infil PA, and Icy was there, and some people were there, and I was just streaming it, and just like getting absolutely roasted as is tradition of like a new person playing Infil PA basically blind, and even though I was getting the shit beat out of me because it is Infil PA, it was super fun, and I really enjoyed it because something's wrong with me. So
I just
that would probably be what I'd have to pick.
Fair enough. I just noticed that you updated your profile to say user of the forbidden sliding technique.
Yes, I had that idea came to me, and I was like, yeah, I have to slide that in there.
That's
it's
good.
too good.
That's good. Anyway, there's our answer for that. Probably need to wrap this up. So we need our trivia answer. How close was I?
Well, you were. I'm sad to say you weren't close.
Damn. Can't say I didn't try.
Now the closest you were was a PA stage.
Okay, that's a good start.
It was Defection Perfect Agent.
Wow.
It was a time achieved in in September of 01 by Sukram, and it was a 47-second cut. So that is the biggest single cut in tracked PD history.
Huh.
Now, I know why you would think like, oh, it would be like in the minutes considering, what stages there are and what they would be. But no, I was surprised too. I had to check several times to make sure. I was like, surely there's one like a minute plus, right? But no, not even the major MBR cuts were big enough.
Absolutely insane.
He got one when Sukram got 128. Legendary player on Defection specifically. 47 seconds is your answer.
Wow. Wild. I guess I thought there were tracked records a bit earlier than that, but apparently
No, yeah. If it included like earlier in 2000, yeah, there would have obviously been huge chunks because that was probably before they even determined as like, okay, an NA is 20 minutes,
Yeah.
So it would be before that even. So there would have been huge leaps.
There was probably as a matter of fact, I know there was a time where getting 20 minutes on Infil PA would have been worth like 80 points.
Imagine that.
Imagine a world. Unfortunately, I don't think we're ever going to be in that world again. So
that time has passed, mate.
it's tragic.
We can't go back. You can't put it back in the box, Pandora.
Speaking of, I had a great segue and I forgot it. That's gonna be it for us today. Thanks for listening. If you made it all the way through the end of this wild episode today, I hope you enjoyed, and we will see you in a couple weeks. goodbye forever.
From me, good luck on the runs, and goodbye forever.